Ladies and gents and non-binary pals, welcome to the Irish Pubcast. We're back. We're live. We're here.
We're in a pub!
In a pub. An actual pub. Surrounded by pubby things. And nerd stuff.
And pints!
And nerd stuff as well, I'd like to point out.
Yeah.
We're in the Thomas House, and they're very kindly giving us this venue.
Put the tea
On a Tuesday night, and this is now a Wednesday night. And we're now surrounded by board games that I really want to steer.
Yeah. Board games that have all been tidied up and placed back in their rightful place.
Back into their boxes.
Back in their boxes since last night.
I mean,
You'd never know.
we could never. I did an absolute tirade in our house. I now have shelving units full of games arranged by size and on their side with all the components held in elastic bands or small plastic bags. You could pull them out like a library.
Which did you go? Did you go for a Calyx for that? For it's
Had them anyway. Had the Calyx anyway.
Like that though. I remember when we lived together, you had your DVDs and box sets. The Showgirls Special Edition box set with nipple tassels and poster of your one. And then what's her name? Elizabeth
Berkeley.
That made many a cameo at house parties, and it always just put back in the spot neatly. Nipple tassels. And
Yeah. Nipple tassels, game boots. What the fuck?
So I'm not surprised your board game cataloging is on point.
I had to do something because my poor children were having to take out games out from underneath 18 games, and I know that everybody who was watching this would probably face a similar problem. I wanted them to be able to take it out without disrupting everything else because I got tired
to find. You didn't want to find one of them buried in it.
Yeah.
That is not a board game in your house if you're not actually having a game of Jenga while trying to find the game you're looking for.
I know. Do you know what? I got sick of setting them up for failure. I got sick of saying, "Oh, you want to play a game?" and then they go,
"Oh, but you have to get it." No, get it yourself. So set them up so that they can get it themselves.
Set it up so they can get it themselves without me then giving out to them over the mess they made, which was unavoidable because of their weak, childlike arms.
Well, that's right. There's your problem. They should be working the farm, working the fields, bring those weak, childlike arms.
Yeah.
You know, and on that note, how have we all been? It's been a
working my week, childlike arms.
It's been a wet weekend since we did a pub.
It is a wet weekend, even though
it has been a wet weekend, which is how Met Aaron have classified this year. This year has been a wet weekend. Yeah, good. How are you?
A lot. Just kind of surviving and using as many nerd outlets to increase those in dopamine levels as best I can.
Yeah. Have you remember when Pubcast did the Year of Wonder?
Yes. It lasted about 6 months.
I have used a similar device.
Oh, yeah?
When I'm watching something, I think, if this came out in the 90s, would I be pissing and shitting myself right now? And the answer for the Acolyte was yes.
Oh, okay. We're going straight into it. Straight in, zero kissing.
I think
no lube, no kissing.
I think it's top of mind because, I mean, there's been all the conversations have been had already. But I think we're all in agreement that Andor is just a stunning work of art.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Acolyte,
contrary to our predictions,
is a Star Wars. I had no predictions. I won't be drawn into predictions or anything anymore. I just wait and see what the whiff is.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Acolyte, the Acolyte was a Star Wars TV show, very Star Wars TV show, and one of the only things, guys, 2 mentions of kids in the first 10 minutes, punch me. But one of the few things when I put it on, the kids would mooch around and watch it with me, and they didn't do that for The Mandalorian. And it was a bit more. It's more silly. And it's more obvious, I think. But if it was on in the 90s, I would have pissed myself and shit myself with how good it was. Like the Linda Hamilton Beauty and the Beast. That's where it would have been for me.
Oh, there's a...
I don't think that's a good or a bad yard.
Yeah.
But say that came out now, people would take the piss. And that was absolute top tier gold star TV at that time. perfect, a nicely made thing made by people who cared about making something. So that's how I feel about it.
My problem with the Acolyte was there's a lot of good in it. Like parts of it look gorgeous. I like you know me, I'm a hooer for Dathomir witches. And I loved the idea of exploring that element of the story. And I think what happened with me was we had just finished watching The Bad Batch, which is fucking amazing if you haven't seen it. So The Acolyte, there are the usual Star Wars TV plot holes that show up. Jedis forget how powerful they are. They forget that they can sense other. Oh, yeah. How did it take you half a journey to realize that's not the right twin?
Are we not? But are we not healing?
But there are
other particular universe. We're just healing in the other one. Okay, good.
I'm the type of person that I would love to work on continuity and casting and that kind of technical stuff on film because I love that stuff. One of the biggest things that bugged me about The Acolyte is the fact that the adult characters of Osha and May are played by the same actress. They are played by non-identical twins in the fucking flashbacks. You can clearly see that they are two different girls. Now I assume they are twins. They have the same last name and both their names start with an L, Leah, and can't remember the other girl's name. But I was like, if non-identical twins don't grow up to be identical. If you're gonna do that, fucking cast a set of identical twins to play her as a kid. And I know that sounds really fucking pedantic.
I haven't seen Jill this petty. I think that's so funny.
I know.
The funny thing is, the actor that plays the adults,
Yes.
you can tell scene to scene from the shoulder up who she is.
Yeah.
Which makes it hilarious when they can't identify. But in my heart, they did know the whole time which one was which, all the Jedi. But, she can make them look different. She carries herself different from twin to twin.
Yeah.
So
So they are different kind of in adulthood.
Yeah.
And a little bit different in you were saying?
Well, they gave them different wigs as well.
Yes, May has a long back, and it's basically the same around here. But May has long at the back.
No goggles cut at one point.
That's
yeah.
So, I really wanted to like the Acolyte.
Yeah.
I know all that.
Right? Don't.
I'm prefacing.
Yeah.
I'm going to say with that.
Yeah, but I'm going to let you have the whole next thing, but. Don't feel pressure to like anything.
I know it. No, I'm not pressured to like it.
Hello, do you know Wayne?
Yeah.
Honestly,
do you remember Star Trek friends?
Smear, bro. But that's you just went in to see it and they did that to you.
Yeah.
I'm saying don't bring anything to it, as if you're going in for a smear test. Scroll in.
I've never experienced it, so.
Or I'll show you.
Okay.
Right.
Lie back and think about
it. So, it looked great for most of the thing, right? But I thought it was one of the most poorly written pieces of Star Wars I'd ever had the experience of. And I've read Splinter of the Mind's Eye, where Leia beats Darth Vader and cuts off his hand and the lightsaber.
Okay.
So I will say, I just thought it was so poorly put together from a plot point of view. The whole flashback sequence thing, there was zero urgency at any point in that.
Oh, yeah, it's sweet.
But when I say urgency, I mean there was no danger. So there was a big thing. My major problem with the show, there's one scene that I just completely was like, fuck you. Done.
Oh, which one?
Right? So,
spoilers.
There's a scene. Again, spoilers. This thing has been out for a while.
I love that 10, 15 minutes in Wayne. Like, spoilers, by the way.
Said anything specific.
So,
yeah.
There is the whole plot of this. It's done in flashbacks. It's kind of like it's partially a Rashomon story, so it's kind of like different points of view of the same story, right? So there's a moment where they land on the They're not Dathomir witches. They're called something else, but we'll call them Dathomir witches for now because that's where they're fucking based on. Yeah. They land in on their Dathomir witches planet. The Jedi do, led by Carrie-Anne Moss. Also, sorry to jump around here, but come on, it's Pubcast. I got to see the first 2 episodes of this at a special screening.
Yeah.
Thanks to Dublin City Comics. So myself, the folks from Dublin City Comics, Jamie T, and a few other heads, were all at the special screening of the first 2 episodes. I'm a huge Matrix nerd. Massive Matrix nerd. And when I heard Carrie-Anne Moss was going to play a Jedi, I was literally, I'm fucking there. I'm in. Let's go. They kill her in the first 5 minutes.
Yep.
So literally the tag thing that they got me to go and be excited about, they got rid of in the first 5 minutes.
Can somebody replay the episode of Flula Borg?
Right? So
We love you, Flula.
they kill her in the first 5 minutes, and then and everyone that came out at the end of those, we watched the first 2 episodes of this special screening, like it was a mini movie. And everyone came out, and we were in the Lighthouse Cinema, and everyone was standing around with their pints afterwards. We were all just standing there looking at each other, waiting to see who would crack first.
Yeah.
Right, and say something, because nobody
Because we were there, because Jamie T was there, there was a lot of other animation people there that I got to meet.
Right.
And I got to meet the Irish guys who were responsible for the Star Wars Visions animated pieces, which is fantastic,
Yeah.
right? And they were giving us their 2 cents, and they were actually giving us a peek behind the curtain because they got to go to the Skywalker Ranch. They got to work with Kathleen Kennedy directly. They got to do all stuff with Star Wars. So they were giving us the inside scoop on what it's like to work for Disney Star Wars. And they were told that, look, they were just given free rein of what they wanted to do. Now, granted, they worked on an animated short compared to a big TV series.
Yeah.
But according to them, that is generally how they approach all of their Star Wars properties. If so, a creator's given
That was it.
how about it? They're going to go, there's your toys, go play with them, make the story you want. So they gave the showrunner the story, the toys she wanted to play with. They cast Carrie-Anne Moss as this supposedly badass female Jedi who gets wiped out by this Sith Padawan in the first 5 minutes of the show. And then they bring her back in flashbacks, in snippets. Straight away, I was like, fuck this noise. Second piece, they finally gave us a Jedi Wookiee.
Yeah.
He did fucking nothing.
No,
He did nothing.
did none.
Nothing. The scene I'm talking about that pisses me off, we find out.
Does the Padawan in Clone Wars not count? You wanted a full Jedi.
Sure, the Padawan in Clone Wars does count, but I mean live action.
Yeah.
The live action.
I'm taking the piss.
Yeah,
I'm poking.
I know. But the thing is, there was a scene where there was a big fucking fight between 3 Jedi
Yep.
and the sisters.
Yep.
Right? And one of the Padawan that's in it gets to do all this twirly fucking lightsaber shit, right? There was zero urgency in that scene. The action was great, but there was nothing to worry about with those characters because we'd already seen them die in. Every single one of those characters, the Wookiee Jedi, the kid Padawan who becomes an old man with the shittest old man makeup we've ever seen.
Oh, that's awful.
So they die elsewhere. So we know in this moment, and we'd already seen them die on screen. So we know.
Oh, the Monsters University curse.
Yeah, we know in that moment, well, these guys are all safe. There's no urgency in this moment at all.
You mean peril. You're saying urgency, you mean peril.
Peril, sure, okay, different word. But you know what I mean, right? There was nothing. I had no emotional connection to that moment.
Yeah, you can't either.
Zero. And I was kind of going, what the fuck is this? Who is this for? What is this for? There's zero point to this entire thing, how it's been told.
Did they just make it properly and then cut it like that?
Everyone thought that. Everyone thought that something was lost.
Just like that.
Something was lost in the editing because the episodes are extremely choppy. Some of them are really long.
Yeah.
Some of them are really short. Yeah. So it's kind of going, is this meant to be one big piece or is it meant to be that they just fucking went at it? The editor was like, no. The studio was like,
George Lucas's wife came in with it.
But apparently, like I said, as we were told, they were given, anyone that works on a Star Wars project is given free rein to do what they want to do.
Ooh.
Right? So they were given this thing and it was like, tell your story. They got to tell their story. And yes, we got Darth, I can fix him in all his ripular glory.
Fucking
right? But and he was the best thing about the show.
Yeah.
Straight up. He was the best thing about the show. And that's why people were more like, I want to see more of him. And then of course the fucking I thought the bit at the end, the whole piece at the end, the cliffhanger piece at the end, where Darth can fix him. But the whole bit at the end, right, for anyone that's a long-time Star Wars nerd, knows the story knows of Darth Plagueis the Wise, right? Mm-hmm. It's the thing that Palpatine tells Anakin when they're watching the fish opera in Revenge of the Sith. That's what it is. It's a fish opera.
That'd be funny.
It's a shortcut.
Just stop.
Same. I'm here to watch the fish opera. But yes, so he tells him about Darth Plagueis the Wise. And the creepy creature you see crawling out of the cave at the end, that's who that was meant to be. I thought that was the biggest tack-on piece of bullshit in storytelling.
There were some tacky things. Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead. What? I thought you had a lot more to say, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, you don't have to stop. But I've got
a
question. What did you think of the lightsabers getting smashed and all that?
That happens.
They would work, and then they would be fucked up, and then they would work again.
Sorry, do you mean with the metal?
Yeah, so they're getting...
There's a particular type of metal that's proper. I will say this: the Jedi Order that they got it right. So that metal name escapes me at the moment. I want to say Cartosis metal or something, but I think that's wrong. I can't remember the name of the metal, but that's actually long-term Star Wars lore from the 90s. And see, this is the thing. I love the expanded universe books. I've said this before on Pubcast.
Mm-hmm.
The Star Wars Disney universe has mined the expanded universe stuff. That's how we got Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right?
They have gone through it and said, yes, we'll have that. No, we won't have that.
Yes. So that metal that he uses, that he makes the helmet out of, that he uses on his kind of bracers to turn off lightsabers, that is part out of the long-term part of Star Wars lore. It could be the books from the 90s. It could be the comics from the Dark Horse comics from the 90s. Right. I can't remember. It could be the Tales of the Jedi comics with Uli Keldroma and Exum Car. I can't 100% remember. But that's
I like that, fucking them up. I didn't know about them just coming back.
Yeah.
But you're like, all right.
And that's the thing. Like,
felt new.
But they put stuff in there where to try and draw the old school fans in, but they were kind of like, oh. But I just felt that the writing was so bad. Some of the acting was fucking terrible. That lad from Squid Game, the main guy.
Oh,
Saul. I thought he was fucking terrible in the show. I just did not connect. I
actually quite liked it.
I've just realised where I know him from.
Yeah. So here's the
first ever English speaking role.
I know that I had no qualms with how he spoke. I had no qualms, but I just felt that the character just wasn't.
But it wasn't his fault.
No, but I think again it was how he was either how he was directed, how it was written.
Well,
and I also
any character that has a mystery within a mystery. It's hard to know how to play that. Like, when we know he's a good guy. He's a bad guy in her eyes. Then he's a good guy in her eyes. Yeah. And then he says, don't trust me, bitch. It's going to be weird. And then, I loved him. I reacted very well to the energy he was bringing to the whole thing, I have to say. That's just what I'm saying. I don't mean to be grinning. I'm grinning. But I don't mean to be grinning. He felt like everybody's dad, but he was a very reassuring presence. But also, he won't let you see him that way.
He a reassuring presence? He lied to everyone. He literally lied to everyone on that show.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Non-stop.
That's all he did.
I'm like, yes.
And I think that's
more, please.
That's one of the things also that pissed me off as well about it, that they basically turned the Jedi grey.
Mm.
Like there was no black and white, which the Jedi and the Sith were all famous for being.
Yes, but
but that's
100 years before the
Star Wars is for children.
Yeah, but but also it makes sense for it to come from shades of grey to the black and white that we needed from. Yeah, I did that for you guys. To the black and white that we needed from the Phantom Menace onwards, because I think it shows some element of the beginning of the divergence. Like it is. So that part didn't bother me. I find
fuck, we're finally going to talk about the Divergent universe. Let me get my notes.
Yeah, shut up, Shailene. I find parts of Star Wars lore annoying. Anyway, like I love Star Wars. I was a Trekkie before I was into Star Wars, so maybe that has a bearing on things. But like, there's supposed to be these, upstanding, righteous fucking space druids, and never faltering, always doing the right thing. And I liked seeing Saul with a bit of emotion and a bit of conflict, and even though he did fucking lie to everybody, as you say, but I think they're space droids, but also they're the Vulcans of the Jedi are the Vulcans of the Star Wars universe in some ways, because they're expected to be non-emotional, detached, all of this kind of thing for the greater good. But it is,
Greater good.
but that doesn't work because they are humans and humanoids and they have complex emotions and yada yada yada. And if they suppress all of that stuff, it tends to result in Vaders and whatnot. So
Vaders and whatnot. Please call the episode that.
Vaders and what?
Oh, please. I love that so much.
not the wrestler, Darth Vader.
It's just like a Star Wars tchotchke shop or something.
Does.
Vaders and what?
Vaders
Yeah.
and whatnot. Yeah, I can't believe this actor from Squid Game. I didn't recognize him.
I haven't seen the Squid Game. I knew that because I Googled.
In fucking The Acolyte. I had no idea it was him. Anyway, never mind.
Like, I just think
I mean, reassuring presence, I said.
I knew it.
we can see what your bias is now, Pierre. We can see it, you know.
But yeah, I had fun, but yeah, if it came out in the 90s, pissing and shit. But you know, it's
I will say all the shows online talking about how they talk about the diversity, like that's fucking wrong. They're all fucking gobshites for that type of stuff. That I never that.
when
that
it's
shit-
obscene,
that
level of predictability. No, honestly,
Woman
it
of
doesn't
colors,
even have to be a trans person or anything. A woman alone.
Yeah.
How are they in a situation where the presence of a woman in a piece of art means that it's not for them? How unfuckable do you have to be?
We've been putting up with not seeing ourselves in year art for fucking years.
I watch 12 Angry Men annually. It doesn't mean I can't empathize with any of those characters. Get it to fucking together. Also, Wayne, they're actually obscene. Like they're violent the way they go on. They're the way they talk.
Yeah.
But the only thing more annoying than how hateful they are is how entirely predictable they are.
And their grammar is generally
Today
terrible.
they've announced a sequel to
Yes.
Ghost of
I have that on my notes. It's literally on my so yeah.
the original game called
Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tahei is the sequel, which is set 300 years later, and it's got a female protagonist.
Oh, Liam told me this earlier because he's all like plugged into the gaming stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, all the neckbeards are losing their shit on the internet.
They're not embarrassed. Like, how could they
I'm
hear
scarlet for
themselves?
Maz for having them. Like, how are they not scarlet for themselves? Because they don't care and they've probably never touched a woman.
Definitely. But the whole incel thing as well. Like, I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I mean, it doesn't impact on anything. But they're
so mad.
They're just ridiculous. They are so ridiculous. They call it woke of Tsushima. No, Tsushima. Woke of Tsushima. But they're fucking morons. Straight up morons.
Are they going to buy it anyway?
I guarantee they'll buy it. Sure,
they'll buy it.
Shit on it. And say that like the first one was better. But these are the same dudes that also shat on the fact that the latest Ubisoft Assassin's Creed game has a black samurai in it.
Yeah,
That's
that was
the real
wild. Based on a real guy.
Based on a real
Statue of that guy in Japan.
yeah, like based on a real dude, and everyone's like,
I've seen it.
that's not historically accurate.
Yeah.
It's like fuck off, you moron.
They really love historical accuracy, don't they? In space.
In a galaxy far, far away, a long time ago.
I don't understand the disconnect in their brain. I don't understand. It's an echo chamber of them. It's like a giant circle jerk.
Equality to people with privilege feels like oppression.
But I don't even know.
No, they just think they're not the focus of every fucking thing that they're being oppressed.
That just means that they were fucking spoiled as children. If they're angry about the fact
They're
that
spoiled by the industry.
Sure.
They're spoiled by the industry. Every like Zelda gets a game this year.
yeah, the film Legend of Zelda.
Zelda got it.
She actually gets her game.
Yeah, Peach got her game this year too.
Yeah.
It's baffling. It is baffling.
Who run the world, girls? Kamala, 2024. Sorry, I said that wrong.
But
Kamala.
she's not even running on that. She can't run on that.
No,
What?
She won't run on that.
Zelda.
She's not running on Peach or Zelda. She's said nothing about either. No, she's not running on a female ticket. She does not want to bring that smoke. She just look
Well, look,
good at the job and wants
if
to
she had, if she had said something to Nintendo sooner, maybe something would happen. That's all I'm saying. But no, look, and here's the thing, you know what, fandom came out against these neckbeards. The one fandom that came out against these neckbeards that you wouldn't expect to come out against them because somebody called their video game woke and the fandom fucking destroyed them. Warhammer 40k.
Yeah.
I loved watching that.
Space Marine 2, Warhammer is a satirical setting. Warhammer 40k is a satirical setting, just like Judge Dredd is a satire, in the same vein of kind of idea that this fascist...
And the Punisher isn't something you're supposed to look up to.
Exactly. Heavy imperialist,
bad guy.
Religiously zealots, like all this type of stuff. It's satirical. And there's moments in it where there was a moment in the new Space Marine 2 game where you meet a commander of a Acadian group of soldiers, and she's female, and she is, I think she's either from India, from Pakistan, but she's of that ethnicity. And she's fucking badass in the game. When you see her, takes no prisoners. And like as soon as the fucking streaming neckbeard saw this, because they were like, "This is our game, man. This is guys like being in big armor and that's why big sword, big guns." And then she turns up. And they're all like, "What's this?"
They lost their...
What's this? What's this? Yeah, they couldn't compute. They're fucking... You could...
Yeah, there's
videos of the... Like, you can see there... It's like that moment of Mark Wahlberg trying to figure out why the trees are killing everyone. It's like them looking at, like, why is there a woman in... Their eyes are flitting back and forth. I don't understand. And why is there a woman in this game? But, like, the Warhammer stories, the lore, they're famous. Look up the Battle Sisters. They're a whole sect of female warriors that are armored out with fucking big swords and big shoulder pads and big guns. And they are specifically designed. And the amount of girls that fucking play Warhammer, it's fucking nuts. It's gas, because there's so many dudes I grew up with that played Warhammer that were surrounded by women because they went to the fucking Warhammer stores and there's girls there.
Yep.
Like, it's so dumb when you think that fandom is not...
Hey boys, girls like video games too.
It's
listen, comics.
There is the percentages of streamers online are more female than male.
Oh no, they'll turn around and tell you they're all in hot tubs. You want to see some of the things that people send to Pokemon. Just the things they say. She's literally just a person. She's just a person. She plays Valorant, and then she sits in a chair, and sometimes she puts on a frock, and the fucking things people send to her. Jesus. Oh, I could never read.
But people, what a bunch of bastards.
I'm glad I made the choice to carry myself in such a repulsive...
I was wondering where you were going with that.
I don't need that smoke. Who needs that smoke?
It just baffles me as a lifelong nerd and preaching.
Yeah, you can't relate.
I just don't relate.
The thing is, guys, we know people who have played Rock Band with the sound off. We know people who've broken up their relationships by trying to reach a goal in a game. We know people where night falls around them while they're playing and stuff like that. We don't. Do you think those people are also going online and yelling about women? I don't think so.
No, I know.
Who are these people?
I've got friends of mine who are very much like what you just described, and they have had relationships with the opposite sex, the same sex, and are still in relationships with people. And they're not in any way broken that they're going online and getting some gratification for being dick.
Screaming into the void.
It's weird. Fucking pronouns. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Oh my.
Stop, guys. He has thumb for a head, Isis.
I don't get it. Like, I just don't understand that. It doesn't compute with me, and I think I don't know. I just hope they have a good weekend. I don't know. It's just sort themselves out. Go outside.
Have a word with yourself.
Would you? Wank, have a walk, have a bath.
I think they generally
wanks.
They what?
They wank while they say that shit. It's very...
Yeah, there has to be a point of no return when it comes to wank, that like you cross a line and then you're like lost to the rest of humanity.
Yeah, it's like I've got my notes here. I wrote some notes before his show.
Not right notes.
And it was like all these different things. Acolyte fandoms are shit.
Yep.
or fandom of being shit. That's what literally
fans. They're not fans of it. They're not because they're people on the internet.
But also the
I have to say, the people talking that way, they're just people on the internet.
Yeah, it was the most review bomb Star Wars show. It got the least viewers.
That was before I watched it.
Yeah.
Similar to that, this is another thing for fandoms, right? The new Hellboy movie is coming.
But then it got cancelled, so like they won.
But also then there was the huge outcry of like, why was this cancelled? We want more of this. Please continue it in some way.
Yeah.
And the actors all obviously want to work and they want to continue the show. But the new Hellboy film is due out sometime soon.
Okay.
It's a bare bones Hellboy film made on a shoestring budget. Hasn't got David Harbour. It hasn't got Ron Perlman. It's made by a relatively unknown actor in the lead role. And the trailer's online and you can see it, and it does look a bit fan filmish.
Right.
But the story it's based on is a really bare bones, really good horror story. Very kind of like, it's one of those like, the sets are like 4 different places and that's it, right? It's already been review bombed on IMDb for 5 out of 10.
Why?
Because people are dickheads.
People are cunts.
There's normally something that they saw.
Because they saw the trailer and then they just review bombed the things on it. People haven't seen the movie.
Oh my God.
But like, this is the world we're now living in, is that as a fandom.
But the problem is, like, sometimes bullying works and it's important. Sonic the Hedgehog. And that's good. And you know, people fix their video games and stuff like that. So sometimes it's important. But they're getting them conflated. They're getting helpful criticism like, why does Sonic look like my raging asshole? Versus, how dare you put a
Those cliff rings.
Yeah. Like, they just, I suppose I can just tweet somebody and that actual person will reply. So you do get a disproportionate sense of how important your fucking voice is.
Listen, Mae Martin liked one of my tweets recently. I am very excited about that kind of stuff.
Do you think that's the root of it? Is social media the root of all of it, that everyone's so accessible?
Maybe.
Yeah, in a way, it's kind of like
I just talked to
who was the quote? It might be Mike Tyson. It was like, you know, nowadays people could do with a slap in the face or a punch in the mouth for saying something stupid.
Nowadays people can just get, you get
smack in the mouth. Chris, you bang.
But nowadays people just need to go slap in the mouth.
Oh,
that's good.
But that's it. I suppose social media has made it so that we are connected everywhere. Sure. You know, I've joked about for years, I don't really use Twitter. I use it to yell across the internet at celebrities and hope that they respond or like the tweet when they do. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Yeah. And unfortunately, these internet trolls, detritus, they feel like because they have the ability to spout that they should. And unfortunately, because we are so
connected, there.
Yeah, because we are so connected, it's very easy to find similarly like-minded people, group them together, and then it's this echo chamber. They're just reinforcing their own shitty opinions.
And they can't find you.
No.
You two aren't there to correct them because you're outside or spending time with your
it's also
friends.
Be fucking us. It's the energy having to expel. And
it is. It's tough, especially if somebody's deliberately sea-lining you. I try not to walk away unless they're deliberately trying to drain my life focus. But I will take somebody's knees out if I feel like it helps somebody else.
I've been guilty of falling for the bait, particularly in work of occasion. There have been 1 or 2 people who, and obviously I've been off for the summer, which has been nice, but there have been people I've worked with over the years who they're like, just poking her a little bit, you know, when somebody says like, I don't believe in labels, says the cis straight white man in his early 40s. Shut the fuck up, you don't know what you're talking about. Isn't it great that you don't believe we need labels? Yeah. Shut up. Yeah. But that kind of, or like, you know, I'm you know, an older IT, I'm too old to be learning pronouns. And I lit on him one day. I was like, if Patrick Stewart, who was 20 years your senior, can do it, then fucking so can you. Or I had somebody who, I think I was relaying that.
They're saying this to get a rise out of you.
Yeah.
The first example was definitely because he's a little Schlevien. The second one, not so much. The third person who I was relaying the conversation with the second person to this third person, and they were like, I was saying, I feel like I need to be very vocal about my community and wrap it in my arms. And I said, as I get older, I give fewer fucks about what people think of me. And I feel that I need to be outwardly and vocally opposing things like transphobia, racism, that kind of thing. And this woman who I used to work with said to me, I've told my girls none of that trans shit while they're under my house, under my roof. And I'm like, sorry, what? Sorry, what?
What do you mean?
Yeah, and it was.
What are they doing?
I think it came from a place of.
Have they threatened her?
No, I don't know, but I just kind of said. I said
I'm gonna just do some trans shit.
but it just.
AK inside from the age of 6.
This is not some fucking, love of rah-rah skirts that they're going to grow out of after 6 months. This is like a fundamental piece of themselves. And I was like, I just feel that's kind of sad that you've said it to your kids. And she's like, why? And I'm like, how are they ever going to come to you with anything?
Yeah.
And also, like, it's not a fad. This is, imagine feeling so othered in your own house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that.
Self.
That in your own self. That's so. And like at the time, I think her girls were like tweens.
Oh, so she would have known already, like, if she was paying any fucking attention.
I would have just said, what was it like if somebody told you to stop being a cunt in your own house?
No, they don't start that in my house. That's
On that note, I'm going to get a point.
Yeah! I get to get a point. Sorry, anyway, pints. We're back.
Points, we're back.
We're back.
I'm trying to look here at my fucking notes because I'm like, what did I actually write the fuck down? Because it has been a while. Like, do you know the last podcast we did was nearly a year ago?
What? Shut the front door.
January of last year was the last podcast we did.
No, January of this year.
January of this year. Sorry. Sorry, you me. But yeah, so I kind of figured,
Jesus,
fucking do one soon. But there was a whole period of time there we were off doing stuff, holidays and family things and all these different things.
Yeah.
And still didn't get to see fucking Alien Romulus in the cinema. But
you didn't?
No.
Oh, you're such a mark.
100% the mark. 100%.
Have you seen it since?
I have not. No, I haven't seen it. I reckon I'll probably see it in the next couple of weeks. But I have heard that it is, and we're going to talk about something that none of us have seen. But the reason being is that it was me. I wanted to talk about something because it seems to be across all of fandoms in the world in general. And I think I didn't bury the lead as much at the start when I was saying, what did everyone do? But Alien Romulus apparently was such a big hit and is probably the best Alien film to be released in a long time because it fed into...
So faint praise.
It fed into what other Alien films, the good Alien films have done in the past.
Okay.
Primarily the first and second, right?
Yeah.
I still love the third one. So, fuck on.
Yeah. Do you know why? Paul McGann.
Yeah. And there's more.
And he's in more in the director's cut.
Exactly. And I have a very specific cut of it on home, a fan cut on DVD called The Highway.
Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just all Paul McGann for like a 90 minutes.
He is a lovely man though, and he did say I could be his ginger assistant, so
in his Liverpudlian accent.
Jesus. It's the only time I found a Liverpudlian accent attractive because it's quite soft.
Yeah, it's very soft.
It is quite soft.
Pronounced.
What's it? You've never heard Jennifer Ellison talking about chunk feature?
Jesus Christ.
She made in Celebrity Master.
So,
anyway,
Alien Romulus was a big hit because it fed into what good Alien films have done in the past, right. Which, when I was talking with a bunch of lads earlier on about video games, Sony has remastered...
Isolation?
No, has remastered fucking everything else though. So they remastered a ton of games. Or they had their announcements there during the week. And they announced all these new games, including the new Ghost game, which everyone loved.
And the new console, which is $720 million.
Oh,
And that's part of it as well. So
Okay, so I'll stop interrupting you and let you get to the point.
there are points here because it's all feeding into, basically, they're releasing a new PS5 Pro, which, in my personal opinion, from a gaming point of view, from a tech point of view, is not that fucking pro compared to the PS5. Although Stephen Mooney might disagree with me because he really wants to buy one. But they showed a showcase of the remaster of Last of Us 2 on the PS5. Then they showed the showcase of the remaster of Last of Us 2 on the PS5 Pro. And they got fucking lambasted for it because it doesn't look any fucking different.
was it like
was it digital foundry?
We used to watch the Blu-ray ad on the DVD.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly just like coming to Blu-ray, the high quality. And
Look at the difference.
what they used to do was they used to just change the widescreen ratio. Yeah. She used to change the widescreen ratio, and then the sound would just get louder. Yeah, that was all.
No, they did.
But everybody was expecting the THX fucking thing from The Simpsons, where your eyes would just burst into the back of your head. But the long-winded point that I'm getting to is that while they're doing, that's announcing the remaster of, sorry for boring you, a remaster on Soul Reaver.
540 this morning. Sorry, it's not his fault.
The remaster of Soul Reaver 1 and 2, which is a game from the late 90s, early 2000s, which I fucking adore, but they're re-releasing again on PS4 and PS5. And they're just mining all of these remasters, all these classic games, mining nostalgia. They also announced a remaster of Horizon Zero Dawn, which doesn't need a remaster because it came out in 2017, and it was one of the most well-received video games graphically when it came out. It's gorgeous. It's still gorgeous to this day. It doesn't need a remaster, but they remastered that.
How long would it take to do that?
I don't know. They're upscaling all the graphics, importing new maps, like as in bitmap.
People they have to put on that.
I don't know. I mean, I would consider, since that game is already built, they're essentially just upscaling it, you know? It's like when modders upscale Skyrim, that type of stuff. You're just uploading new textures, all that jazz. But have we gotten to a point where in society we're so dopamine deprived that all of this nostalgia is the only selling point of a lot of things? Rehashing old ideas and old marketing old products and old IPs because they're too lazy to think of new ones.
They're too lazy to think of new ones. They're too tight to back new ideas. They're not willing to take a risk. Because they're so risk adverse.
Because that's the thing.
They won't take
an old IP.
They can't afford a flop.
You're going to have a minimum amount of money for that banked because of the nostalgia factor. So, yeah, I don't know. Like sometimes it's executed well, but sometimes it's just like. And us older millennials are mad for our nostalgia.
The thing is, though, Nintendo have gotten away with it for years.
Yeah,
Nintendo.
They can do no wrong though.
No, Nintendo are sweet and wholesome, so it makes sense that they're sweet and wholesome stuff. Well, I finally played Wonder. Oh my god!
Oh, it's so good.
Not a well-named game, but they are still releasing other games.
Yeah,
but with their main guys.
But they're also none of their games that they release. Right, I have a plethora of Nintendo consoles. I don't have a NES, but I have like a SNES, and I had an N64. I don't know if it's still working anymore. But I've got my Wii. Don't have a Wii U. Who does?
And then
I've got my Switch.
Scott the Woz owns them all.
But apart from the Switch, right, where they're releasing free games from the SNES or the N64 in the online thing, which you do have to pay for. You have to pay 20 years, 30 years a year. They are re-releasing old games. Every new generation console, they re-release all of the old games again. Not so much they've remastered all the Zelda games like Twilight Princess.
They've recently remastered Luigi's Mansion 2 for the Switch.
I full body for the book, but Nintendo are famous for doing that shit. But they never get lambasted for it. Sony is getting torn apart for it. Microsoft did it a bit with the Halo series.
Yeah, but aren't those two constantly swinging dicks about their games and how how they're innovating? So for them to do it, I think it feels, didn't they, with the whole point with their consoles was all their originals and how much they were pushing the industry forward. And Nintendo were a bunch of babies making games for babies. And that's fine. And for them to be stuck in a creative rut is noticeable. More noticeable.
Yes, though, I don't think.
Whereas Nintendo has always had a graw for their pillars, for their icons.
But Nintendo have always innovated with a lot of those pillars as well.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the last 2 Zelda games. The last 2 Zelda games. I mean, how many?
I didn't play them, but I watched them.
But that's exactly. How many videos on TikTok have you seen of the last Zelda game where all these innovative designs from the fan base, how to use your batteries, how to build your some things to kill,
and also the fact that you could get, you can still be me and just hide and ride horses.
Well, there you go.
While they're creating, World War II bomber planes.
Yeah.
With flamethrowers. Which are
yeah. He's fucked.
So yeah, I mean they use their moorings to work around them, I think. But I think the reason Sony are getting slagged is because they should be doing something else.
But Sony are, that's the thing. I think, and it's not so much Sony Studios, but Sony Studios are doing a lot of stuff that's
them for.
I was,
okay,
but also I'm asking the question, like, is it the case of, are they just mining nostalgia for the sake of dollar bucks, or is it a case of as merit in these remasters somewhere?
Well, one of them you listed absolutely has no merit.
Yes,
and yeah, so you answered yourself there. But I think, there's everybody's risk averse. They won't put the money into a game that doesn't take off because the cost of making it in the first place.
I think
same with movies. You've seen, like, it's just
yeah.
Very, 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 very hard. You need directors with blank checks to get anything made that's singular.
I think when there is, like, indie gaming is soaring. Like, on a lot of the consoles, indie gaming is soaring.
Yeah.
Steam, on Switch.
Oh my God, I thought, thank goodness you're here. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's set in a fictional, like, Northern English town, and it's the most demented thing. Actually, I'm gonna say nothing. Matt Berry does voices in it. It's like 13 quid. Get it and just.
Oh, Liam's played that.
Okay.
So
he's a viewer. Like weird indie games on Game Pass.
Yeah. So just for the listeners and the viewers, there's a game out there, but Matt Berry does voices.
Yeah.
It's an indie game.
Yeah.
It's only €13
or something on the Switch, maybe 22.
Oh, it's on the Switch.
It's on the Switch, and
more likely it's on other consoles as well.
Now, does anyone want to put the over/under bets on me getting that title right? Or
no, it's all right. I just googled it.
Oh,
I got your back.
Expenses. Some
win that yourself.
Because I was calling it originally before I got it. I was calling it. I think it's. Thank goodness you're here. But I was calling it. Thank God You Came, which is a different movie.
That's a whole different. That's a whole different link.
You just have to go around this fictional town fixing problems. It's Untitled Goose Game with Northerners instead of a goose, and it
sounds like the aftermath.
Tell you what, the Foley artists in that game come from the same place as your monsters and their demise in our D&D campaign. The squelching.
Really?
The fucking squelching. It is the wettest game of all time. Just things are constantly...
Is that why you call it Thank God You Came?
Guys, it's so good. Wayne, it has a really fun ditty music. I think you should use it over the credits.
What did I play? Oh, I played recently. It's such a silly game on it's on Game Pass on Xbox called Donut County. Have you seen it?
No.
You're basically this mischievous little raccoon who has an online donut shop, but instead of donuts showing up, there's a hole, and the object is to just swallow everything. Like, so the hole gets bigger as you eat things. Amelia would love it. And then it cuts between you having to swallow all the things. So it could be like campsite and you have to get like the little stones and then the campfire, and when you swallow the campfire it means there's like fire in the hole now so you can burn things with it, And then it cuts between that and like these these townspeople stuck down the hole. So it's like
Civilization, but in the stomach of the raccoon.
and like the little raccoon BK, he's like, I'm just doing people a favor, and they're like, you're fucking eating her down, dude. Like, sort it out. And then the story is they have to like get somebody who has a hot air balloon to try and get everybody out. But it's literally only a couple of hours long.
Imagine the fucking meeting.
Yeah.
Putting that game
I know. But some of these little games are great.
They're just like,
and it's just
sure, Craig.
it's simple 2D animation, but the humor in it, I just like, it just comes off. The dialogue comes off as quite sassy, and I love an old sassy dialogue.
Better than the sassy raccoon.
Yeah. But that one is one I've played recently. Like, I suppose living with a gamer, I have the encouragement to play games, but like not in a, you have to play this. There's a Game Pass there with your account attached to it, and if here's some stuff that I play,
This controller here.
I'm just gonna leave this controller and I'm gonna leave Gree open.
Happens to just end up in your hands, and you're like, ooh. Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, but like games we talked about months ago, like I've played and finished Firewatch and What Remains of Edith finished and Gone Home, and those little games that are only like a couple of hours long that I can agree is a gorgeous platform game that I think you'd quite
Have you played Firewatch?
No.
Break your heart.
Oh, it's very good.
Fucking heart.
Oh. Did you try and have an affair with the girl in the other tower?
Oh.
No, me neither.
No.
I shut that shit down. I have an ailing wife at home.
No, God, no.
I have a hankering. Like a hankering. I want to play Baldur's Gate.
You want to play Baldur's Gate?
Yeah, I do.
We started and we have to restart it because what happened?
Said
So I essentially made as closely as I could. I made Z. And then Liam was reading up at it and he was like, I think he was having it like, I love Avatar, as in Avatar The Last Airbender, the cartoon, not that shit movie that M. Night Shyamalan made.
Or that TV show.
The live action was, ugh, it had so much potential.
It did.
Anyway, I digress. So he was having a moment of how could I play Baldur's Gate as essentially Aang, and he picked a monk character, and then he went, this is bullshit. Monks are shit in combat.
Well, they're shit in that game.
They are, yeah. And I suppose we have the advantage when we've played tabletop D&D, whether it's been our ongoing games or our one-shots, we don't start at level 1, we start fucking level 5.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas Baldur's Gate, you were in at level 1, being very shit at things.
But they put you up against shit bad guys, so like it balances out. It really does.
I need to go back to it. It's funny, actually, speaking of, you were talking about costs of games and rehashing shit. Did you see there was a quote recently from one of the more senior staff in Larian talking about how games should cost more than they're actually sold for these days because so much work goes into it.
Yeah.
And I think, well, I suppose with Baldur's Gate, they did, it was a while after the digital release, but they did physical release, they did massive box set, special edition stuff, I suppose, and that would have ensured that they got some more profits back. But like if the standard game on a console is 70, 80 bucks,
Yeah.
and he's saying,
I
weren't that, what do you think about that?
Well, can I tell you what I think? I think there should be 2 levels of games. Everything being 70 quid is so silly. You should have a 50 quid game you can finish in 3 days and a 90 quid game that you'll still be playing in 6 months.
Those games do exist.
Yeah, but I feel like there's pressure to keep
it all at middle games,
at the same price. But the games get more and more sprawling, and not always for good reasons. But I think that I
getting the sound effects.
Something you just said there. Yeah, it's like when cosplayers go to sell the costume they made. The real price is to calculate the materials.
The materials and how much time.
The materials and their time, it would cost about $1,000.
Oh yeah,
but nobody's going to pay that.
Some people don't pay that because it's particularly if they're worn, because they want to lick them and sniff them at the same time.
So
You had to make it gross.
basically, they have
I'm just that's not being gross. That's honestly.
You're just cosplaying as a neckbeard on the internet. I'm joking.
They want to get something that's worn, and that's the thing. But
Do you want to sniff my avatar?
see, but
She's a star.
the thing about gaming is, and I think Baldur, somebody who was a part of Larian, has the credibility to be able to say something like that, because they
That game is particular.
the game that was definitely worth its weight in gold.
all right, Nintendo this year.
Won all the awards.
Majority of AAA studios cannot hold up a lot of their games. I'm looking at you, fucking Ubisoft. Cannot hold up their games and say, "Give me money, please."
Yeah.
That's not the way it fucking works. Because they charge through the fucking nose. Star Wars Outlaws had 3 to 4 different versions of the game when it launched. And the main version that had all of the content that gave you the full game was over 100 quid. Right? And the game was still full.
Finished.
The game is finished.
Oh,
It's Ubisoft.
it's finished.
I have played Ubisoft games that have been fantastic, but I've played them years after they were released.
Yeah.
Right?
like
I-
Cyberpunk and stuff.
No, Cyberpunk is CD Projekt Red.
Oh yeah.
And I will stand on CD Projekt Red and I will say, look, I played Cyberpunk at launch on an Xbox One and I loved it and I didn't have any problems with it.
Oh, was that? And so
In my humble opinion, as an observer and which option do you think we should pick for V today?
yeah.
Give me a Mickey.
Well, it's funny because after the Phantom Liberty DLC,
That's a choice.
Liam decided to replay the game, and he played V as a female character, and he was like, some of her interactions are much more rewarding than the male version. But that's another game that in my head, because of the size of the world and the amount of sheer fucking stuff that you can do in that game, that should be a higher price tier along with your Baldur's Gate and these maps.
But you'd have to have the prestige to do it.
But they have to, they have to arrive back late. They have to arrive without any bugs.
Yeah.
99% of the games that arrive today, when they arrive at launch, there's like a 20 to 30 gig patch that you have to upload on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this, Space Marine 2 was the first game that launched the AAA. I want to say it's AAA. And it was a full price game.
Yeah.
It's a full price game for Focus Entertainment.
That's a Warhammer one.
Warhammer game.
Yeah.
Fucking phenomenal game. Brilliant game. It arrived, no bugs. Fully complete. Ready to go and launch.
But look at, like, we say Nintendo are great, but Game Freak are not. Game Freak trying to make an annual Pokemon game and them coming out barely playable is like, Pokemon fans have been really eating shit for years now.
The honest couple have been pretty bad, haven't they?
Yeah, and I mean, the idea is great, and, you know, I used to make fun of Pokemon fans for being babies and just being ready to be mad. But, yeah, there's a reason they're ready to be mad.
Yes, I can understand.
Maddening. They're maddening situations because the new game will try to do something different.
Which is what you want.
Absolutely, but you'll get a taste of something new, and then you'll see the moment in the game where they ran out of time.
Wow.
It's really sad.
And that's not the developer's fault. That's the studio pushing for release.
Yes, they want a Pokemon game every year.
They wanted it. Look, get it up in time for Christmas. That's a little arcade.
Now, we did not get one this year.
Good.
They're finally learning their fucking lesson.
Yeah.
How you wished. Give us a good game. Hey.
Yeah.
Spend more time refining the product that you have. Give it to us every 2 years and give us a better version of that product.
Now, I am more than happy when I hear a studio say, you know what, and that's what happened to Space Marine 2. Space Marine 2 was meant to release last year. And they said, you know what, we're going to have to hold it back. We're going to release it next year.
Yeah.
Please be patient with us. And everyone was like, sure.
I was Breath of the Wild delayed by 3 years or something.
Something like that. But I mean, when they do that, when they give the studio time to build a game, I signed up for the alpha for Baldur's Gate 3. That's how excited I was for that fucking game.
That's long.
When I signed up for that game, the only playable mission that they had in it was when you go down into the Underdark, there's a temple and you have to find something in the temple. And that section is still in the game today, but that mission is not there. In the temple I'm talking about, if you go to the left of that temple, you run into what's the smaller version of the Beholder called? It's not a Beholder, it's something else. But you end up fighting one of them. And it could be a Beholder actually you fight. But it's where you find, when you unpetrify them, you find a bunch of drow that give you a letter about some of the people, the Myconids that live there. But anyone that's played Baldur's Gate knows what I'm talking about. But that was the only section that you had in the alpha. And I was like, this is fucking badass.
Yeah.
This is amazing. And that was just at alpha stage. And he's like, you know what? I'm not going to play this now. I'm going to wait again until it comes out again. And every iteration that they released, yes, it had problems, but you could see what they were doing.
Yeah.
And
So I think they listened to the feedback as well, which is
Larian
important.
have gotten themselves in a place where they could make a game about this table and people will just be like, that's the greatest thing ever made. That's where Larian are now. That's what they've... But the problem is it's a dangerous place to be. You're on that pedestal. So the next thing you do better be fucking good.
Yeah.
And I know
They've set the bar so high for themselves.
The next one's going to be Southland Tales.
oh my God. There's a reference.
Is that for Paul?
Yeah. Wow. Because I mean, Larian have been going up and up for years. Like that's definitely like a Divinity Original Sin.
Yeah.
Right? Divinity Original Sin and Divinity Original Sin.
There's two.
No,
DOS 1 and 2 to the nerd.
They are the blueprint for Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
And I remember during lockdown, myself and the lad played Divinity Original Sin 2.
I remember you telling me about it, yeah.
Saved our lives.
Yeah.
That game was fucking real. And I would have won that game if it wasn't for a glitch in the game, Larian. Okay? My shield unequipped right at the end. And Charity won.
Yes, I heard that story.
Fucking...
Well, at least it's someone who won't keep going on about it.
Jamie likes to remind me about that all the time. What can I say? And I keep reminding myself about it too.
I does.
Yeah.
Wayne, do you think we'll ever play a D&D game where our characters romance anyone?
I don't know. That's up to you.
Listen, Amateur was mad for cracking onto Arun.
Yeah, you
No. Well, Iran cracked onto Arun. Yeah. But Aratir tried to have a go at Arun.
Loran was an equal opportunities perv.
They were.
I'm just waiting for the day when you two are... Because, I mean, it's you two in the game. When are you two going to romance each other? That's what I know.
Because he's not into cats.
No, and Gray's kind of... I think Gray's probably asexual.
Yeah.
But if we were doing a one-shot one time...
So, there's the layers to that.
Yeah.
Layers like an onion.
I even heard the menace in what I just said. It's unfortunate.
So, speaking of TTRPGs and speaking of Dungeons & Dragons, they've released a new version of the game.
Yeah, they have.
And I personally feel like it's launched like a damn squib. I really think it's landed.
No, nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Mm-hmm.
But the Wizards being Wizards, Wizards of the Coast being Wizards of the Coast, are doing the usual tyrannical shit. Now, they rolled it back because there was so much outcry. But D&D Beyond, which I do pay a subscription for because I use it as a DM,
Same.
they were going to remove all of the 5th edition content from D&D Beyond. You were going to have access to some...
Were they rolled back?
Rolled it back because people were like, the fuck on. They were literally trying to force the new version down everyone's throat. They were forcing everyone to go buy it and go at it and say, right, this is the next version. You have to go get it.
And I noticed when I logged in the last time, they had like the legacy spells there, like the old stuff.
Yeah.
They're labeled legacy.
Labeled Legacy. So when you were looking up Confusion for our last episode, Legacy is written beside it because the newer versions are all different. They ran into so many problems with the launch, with the build up to the launch, with the kind of the prep for it, the kind of promo for it. There was accusations of AI arts. There was accusations of AI writing.
Holy shit.
All sorts of stuff. Wizards have a long history of being problematic.
Yeah, they're disaster. I've been caught.
100%.
But do you think the problem is that their particular fans, I'm sorry, are there more detail-focused people than people who play D&D or TTRPGs? Those people notice things.
It's the full-on neurodivergent army. Essentially, what you're going for.
You're not going to sneak something past people like that observant. And they're constantly trying to get away with things.
It is. They do the whole Malibu Stacy with a new hat.
Yeah,
They do get away with that because I mean we're still gonna people still go back to them and still use their systems. Still, I mean I have a shelves of classical D&D stuff back to third ed. I have it at home and I have up to 5th ed. I know. Well, okay, here we go. But it's a case of I don't see myself buying the new edition.
Yeah.
I don't. I see myself going to other systems. I see us going to other systems players.
Isn't that that's something. That's a project.
What is?
Sometime us playing something else.
Yeah, which we kind of... So in our latest episode, I kind of test drove a wee bit. I test drove the mechanics of Dagger Heart, which is the new game from Darrington Press. It's a TTRPG fantasy game, but it's a collaborative storytelling mechanic. There's no initiative for combat. You just basically say, right, who wants to go next? And you go, I want to go now. This is what I'm going to do, blah, 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 blah. There's limited dice rolls. You roll to attack, you roll to hit, you roll damage. But it's all very flowy.
Okay.
And it's not a kind of like, right, let's look at the initiative order. Okay, you're up next and you're after them. So you prepare what you're going to say. It's more a case of, right, who's ready to go now? And you go, I'm ready to go now.
Oh my God, that's so good for me. I'm never ready.
It's a bit more improv.
Very loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You can tell it's been written by actors. So it's, but that's it. Darrington Press are basically Critical Role. That's the group that own it. So you can tell that it's an improv group that designed the TTRPG. But it is, I've been playing a game of it. Ben isn't playing it with me, with a couple of others decking duties in the game. And I've been running the game. We've done 3 sessions so far.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very, very loosey-goosey, very like just seat of the pants, what does the character want to do? But there's been great moments in it. It's very kinetic. It's really good.
Yeah.
And I feel me as a DM leaning more into systems like that than a heavy rule, kind of stringent kind of thing. I love improv anyway. It's.
So Wayne.
Yeah.
Speaking of improv, earlier, last week I went to see Comedy Bing Bong, as my kids call it. Comedy Bang Bang came to the Liberty. Actually, it came to the Sugar Club. Anyone who knows Dublin knows the Sugar Club is a tiny venue. And I'm like, do they not know how many people listen to this in this country? And then, yeah, they did, because immediately they sold out and immediately they had another venue. They went to sell another night in the Sugar Club and then they moved to the Liberty Theatre, Liberty Hall Theatre. So you know the way I can say anything to anybody? You know the way that happens? You know the way I can just march up and like barefoot out onto a stage?
You can or you do?
So you know the way, yes, you know the way I'm a mouthy bird. You know the way I can say anything I want to anybody and I'm not daunted by anybody. Holy Jesus, God, you would have laughed at me so hard if you saw me standing in front of Paul F. Tompkins. I was just...
That's the guy who does the voice of Mr. Peanut Butter on BoJack, right?
He is.
That's the only thing I know him from.
At the very least, he's but he's just such a powerhouse. He's such a powerhouse. And for Scott Aukerman to be doing this 20 years later, really, since comedy Death Ray on the radio, and to be doing, and you can hear there was a few years where you could hear him just going, why am I still doing this? In his voice.
I can relate.
He keeps going in circles and it keeps coming back and he gets it just keeps going up and up and up and I'm standing there in front of me. I've provided me with how much free entertainment in my life. I've nearly crashed the car twice because of Carl Tart, and who just got signed to SNL, by the way, as a writer. It's going to be amazing. His O.J. Simpson character, I did, honestly, I thought I was going to die for it. I heard it. The whole bit is Scott hasn't really kept up with O.J. Simpson since the 90s, so he doesn't know what he's been up to.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
He just remembers him in the 80s and in the ads. They doesn't know anything else. So he just said, what have you been up to? And, you take care. Just that. Anyway, I'm standing, so I have all these plans of what I'm going to say. I have all these plans of what I'm going to say from 3 months ago. And I go up and I stand. Thanks for the program. I walked away from the table and I was like giggling and nearly crying. And the woman who works there was like, "You're really happy." Like, she's looking at these fucking nobodies sitting at this table. And I just cannot believe I've met them. And
So I ask, were they nice to you?
So nice.
Okay, well, that's the main thing.
So nice. But I felt like, I mean, comedy nerds, we have a quality, we have an intensity that makes us kind of hard to love, I think. People who analyze comedy in that way. And you're just, you're like, just don't be a fucking idiot. Like, just don't be a fucking idiot to Paul F. Tompkins, please. But I just wanted to not let the nation down, my gender down, my age group down, and it's too much pressure. I don't know. Where'd you get the idea for your sermons? Maybe I could say that. But I was just like, I asked Jess McKenna about Ben. Jess McKenna is a musical improv genius. And I said, so Jessica, this guy plays D&D with us. And he's incredible. And his character is incredible. His gameplay is incredible. He's never had a character. He's real believable. He's amazing. And then I found out he's theatre training. And she goes, oh. And I said, does that count as juicing? Is that like juicing for like role playing? Is that like taking performance enhancing drugs, doing theatre? And she's like, no, I think that's probably a good use of it. Yeah.
Do you not have theatre training? I thought we all did.
Yeah.
What?
I went to Juilliard.
I went to the Betty Ann Norton Theatre School.
It's so
Like legit.
Yeah. So I learned to be a DM.
Actually did. You fuckers. Anyway, Scott Aukerman has had his taint out on Mr. Show and we haven't. So, you know, with it, we can always...
I don't know if it goes to that level. We are in a dingy basement, you know, and generally that's where taints are taken out.
Yeah,
But,
especially in hardcore.
yeah. So, Whoa.
Yeah.
I know.
Taint too proud to beg on.
Oh, Jesus. But yeah, so you had fun.
A great time. I had a great time. And my husband was glad that I have, like, stumbled into the office where he's trying to work, like, with tears streaming out of my eyes, making him listen to a song about a truck's birthday. And because of that, those little snippets, he was able to get right in. He had complete immersion. He knew the form.
Okay.
He knew
Right.
this guy.
Got to the right seat.
Yeah. This guy.
You had sufficiently groomed it.
himself.
Wow.
Yeah. This guy is going to be himself interviewing these characters, and that's what's going to, like, even knowing that format would help. But yeah, they'll always, there's certain shows where they're like, anyone here has never heard this show before? Oh boy. That's a particular, oh boy. But yeah, it's amazing.
I did have it probably wasn't recently. I can't remember because time is weird now, so I don't understand how it works anymore. But I did have quite a recent theatre experience that I thought was fucking amazing. I went to see The President in the Gate Theatre.
Was that with Hugo Weaving?
Yeah, that was.
Because every time Wayne talks about a theatre show he went to, it'll be some really lofty, worthy play. But there will be a Star Wars, Star Trek, Matrix, West Wing actor in it.
Lord of the Rings, motherfucker.
Lord of the Rings and the Matrix, motherfucker.
Said the
I
Matrix.
said the Matrix, but I wanted to get the Lord of the Rings bit in there.
So I'm just saying.
He was in the Matrix first.
There will be a love of his life there.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how you do it, though.
So you get people into the theatre.
That's how they get the pros in theatre. But like, yeah, but actors love to work. What can you say? But you're just like, I went to see this Brecht play, and Michael Dornan was in it. Do you know what I mean? It's gonna be
I wouldn't go see if Michael Dorn was in it. He's not nice.
Michael Dorn.
He's not a nice guy.
Actor. Yeah, well, that was
all right.
No,
It's all right.
I was doing an example. So it was a bad example.
Sure, okay, yeah. I mean, if you'd said Brett Spider, you know.
Yeah, you go see Doctor Strangelove, Will Wheaton it.
I kind of want to see the one with Steve Coogan in it, though.
Yes,
He's doing Doctor Strange next year in the board. Gosh, the tickets are on sale already.
Written by Armando Iannucci.
Oh, fuck. Armando Iannucci, I left the Cuban in Doctor Strange.
Very expensive.
Wayne just came in his pants.
I dropped 300 euros per a pop for Hamilton tickets, so I'm happy to pay for Hamilton.
It's like
directed.
£70 right up the back. Like,
Yeah.
seat. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know, but it's very far away for play.
No,
Kind of for
that sounds like something I convinced Ari to bring me to for my birthday. That's what that sounds like.
those tickets are selling, bro.
Yeah, how many nights is it doing it for?
Oh, a week, yeah.
A week. Okay,
It's a week in February.
right. Okay, February. Not too long after my birthday in January. That's kind of.
It's also during the week of Valentine's, so you could bring her as a Valentine.
To watch Doctor Strangelove on Valentine's Day.
The tickets see the big board.
The same people who want to watch Deadpool on Valentine's.
Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah. Anyway, the president.
The president, right? The president. Completely batshit crazy play. Fantastic cast. But there was a weird twist at the end of it. So, spoilers, I guess?
Yeah, it's the famous thing about that play. Spoilers.
Yeah. It's but how they did it in the gate was fantastic. So, the whole point of this story is about this
what they do.
Yeah. So it's about this president and his wife who flee their kind of South American country to go and they flee on, it could be Middle Eastern, and they flee to South America. But at the end of the play, he gets assassinated off stage. And but how they handled it in the gate was, he goes off stage, you hear the gunshot, and the curtains close. And then the curtains open, and Hugo Weaving is in a glass coffin. And then the concierge or the fucking usher comes in, because he's dressed like a concierge, but the usher comes in, and he says, right, if everyone would like to come in and pay their respects to the president, and they march everyone backstage through the back of the back. You see all the grease paint. They'd laid out grease paint. They'd put all this stuff out to make it look like the back of a theatre, like they dressed it up.
Oh.
So it was done up, like you say, you're walking behind, you're seen behind the curtain, literally. And then you file past Hugo Weaving in a glass coffin, and you pay your respects, and then you leave the theatre. That's how you leave. So you don't even get to do your final bravo, no curtain call, nothing. You just walk out.
To bring your bag with you.
Oh yeah, no, they tell you to bring all your
shit. Yeah.
Bring all your shit and get the fuck out. So Hugo Weaving is a giant barrel-chested man. You would not believe it to watch him on screen.
Really?
He is like there's a moment where he has like his shirt open, and he was literally like, you think that Australian,
and they're slim.
No, this dude is fucking built. He's massive. He's like broad-shouldered, barrel chest. You wouldn't think it. You would not think it. You look at Elrond and you're going to go, no. But Aidan Smith, maybe. But the dude was big. He's fucking big. He's imposing. Like really imposing. And he could work in the seat. We were right in the front row. We were in the front row, and he came up and he was literally standing here.
Holy shit.
And I was like, this dude's fucking huge. I turned out, this dude's fucking huge. Massive dude, real, and just gave it his all. It was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It ran for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Tickets were as cheap as chips. Said that front row, and the tickets were like €40.
Wow.
I'm going to see Crack's last tape in a couple of weeks with Stephen
Ray. Yeah.
It's a one-man show. It's a famous Samuel Beckett one-man piece that I was introduced to in theatre school.
This piece it's called Sinker. No, sorry.
The prior theatre trip I did, I don't think if it's January since we talked on.
I think it is. Yeah.
Sound off in the comments. Did you know Jill was a theatre baby? I did not know that.
I got to see Serene McKellen on the stage doing Player Kings, and 2 weeks after we saw him was when he had his tumble off the stage. We saw him back in May, and I believe the show we went to a matinee, and it was the day after his 85th birthday. But the play was phenomenal. It's Henry IV back-to-back, parts 1 and part 2 back-to-back. So you're in the theatre. I feel like you're in the theatre for like 4.5 hours, like including your interval. Yeah. And he was playing Falstaff. He was amazing. And it was modernized, obviously. So instead of 17th century fops having a drink in a nice establishment, they look like they're in a squat doing coke off Sam Obisania's ass. The actor who plays Sam Obisania in Ted Lasso is one of the leads in that show, and he's phenomenal. Shimon, I think is his name. And he's brilliant. And there's a couple of other heads in it that you would have recognized as well, like Richard Coyle, who's been acting for years. He was the last thing I saw him in was Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. He was the headmaster of the school.
Yes.
He pops up in loads of things. But it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And it was one of those, like, the tickets were stupid money, but I was like, I'll, who knows when I'll get the chance to see Sir Ian on the stage again.
Yeah.
Again, he's retiring now.
Well, this is it. And actually, segue, I don't know if it has been on Netflix long, but Netflix decided to recommend a show to me. It is turn your brain off, silly comedy. It is Sir Ian McKellen and Sir David Jacobi in Vicious. And they play a pair of old queens who have been together. At the start of the first season, they are together 48 years, and they're absolutely horrible to each other, but in that way, like, I read some of the reviews, and the reviews are funny. Like, some of the low ranking reviews are like, I couldn't understand it, they were being so mean to each other. And I'm like, bitch, you've never been around old queens or drag queens, because the way they are to each other is throwing shade. They are, as the title says, vicious.
Actually, they kind of like visit upon those they love any negative feeling that's been put on them by somebody who hates them.
Yeah.
Like, they internalize it and then send it out towards the people they
Let
love.
it back out. Yeah. But the two of them, I suppose, these revered actors,
How fun for them to play off each other.
that's what it kind of felt like watching it. They were having the crack. And what's his face? Ramsay Bolton from Game of Thrones. I can never pronounce his name properly because it's Welsh.
Ewan Griffith.
Not one of them lads.
Ramsay, yeah.
He's the young fella who lives upstairs. So he's
Right.
the, like, the nice young straight guy who they kind of adopt. And it's, every episode is less than a half an hour. It's a real easy watch.
Oh, you're going to love things you can fart through.
But that's the thing. And I like both seasons, 14 episodes all in. But if you want something that is a bit funny and has two of the best actors on British TV, being horrible queens, watch it. It's great.
I think
Speaking of
sorry, go on.
renting upstairs or renting downstairs, cheers to space. Happy
Yes.
anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
It's the reason we know each other.
Babylon 5 is a big pile of shit. Fall through it every time.
Get out. Yes, it is. No, happy birthday, Space. But I saw an interview with Eric Jacobi and Ian McKellen back many moons ago. I couldn't even been on Graham Norton, where they were doing the press tour for the first season.
Well, Vicious is 9 years old.
And it was a long time ago. And it's a very beautiful moment, because what happens is they talk about working together on walking the boards together in theatre.
Yeah.
Many, many moons ago when they were younger. And there's a confession between the two of them where both of them say, I used to have a crush on you when you were younger. And I think Jacobi says it to McKellen first, and McKellen kind of goes, shit, I had a crush on you when we were young. They never did anything about it. And then they showed pictures of the two of them when they were younger.
Right.
Fucking stunning.
Absolute right.
Stunning individual.
Yeah.
Ian McKellen in Hamlet.
Yeah.
When he did Hamlet, when he was like in his 30s, oh, fucking right. You're looking at him going, holy shit, that dude's handsome. Again, and then young Jacobi as well. But they show clips of them when they were younger, when they were working together, and it was like, apparently they were just madly in love with each other, and neither of them realised it. So the fact that they were at that show,
Yes.
it's kind of a what if.
That is very cute. And
It's like something to tell.
So yeah, geez.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love it.
I've been we've started watching Emmy award-winning Shogun. Has anybody watched?
Oh, I did.
I'm getting to that. That's our next prestige.
Oh, sorry. We put it off for ages and ages and ages because we were like, we have The Bear, we have other things, and in the last couple of months, we got on the slow horses train, and in the last week or two, we were like, better watch this Shogun nonsense and see what it's all about.
Oh no!
and
it is. I'm saying,
and
me and him.
Yeah.
it is gorgeous. But it won so many technical Emmys as well. Like, it's cinematic and it's beautiful, and I feel like we're only 3 episodes in, but it's brutal as well. Like, as in, like, that period, 17th century Japan was fucking harsh, man. And it's funny when you see the European characters in it, and they talk about how there were so many rules in Japanese culture, and there's, you know, they look at things upside down compared to how the Europeans looked at it. And the lead, whose name I always forget, and he's in everything,
Hiroyuki Sanada. He was there was a great sci-fi show called Helix there a few years ago, and it was phenomenal. He's in the original Ring.
He is. He's a beautiful man.
He's one of the greatest actors ever.
He's one of those. He has that presence. Like, he doesn't even have to say anything, and then he opens his mouth and he's got that, like, wonderful deep voice, and you're like, okay.
But he's fully trained, like, in the
nothing.
He's a fully trained swordsman. He can, like, all that, like, combat stuff. He does all of that. He does it. He was at The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, and you can see it. Like, there's a control there. There's a scene in Last Samurai, and Tom Cruise, being the dickhead that he is, he was on his knees and just trying to method act the whole thing. Sanada was just doing what he did.
Yeah.
He had to bring a blade right up to Cruise's neck.
Yeah.
And Cruise was shitting himself, and he just did it.
And he just stopped it. The control.
Unbelievable control. But he was involved. Watched the documentary of the making of Shogun.
Yeah.
And he's involved in every level of production. He's the reason that show was. So he was, like, technical consultant, historical consultant. Like, there was other people on the show, but there was the documentary was basically him going around the set, going, right, and they were all asking him questions like, "What is this right? Is this right? Is this right? Is this right?" And he was like,
he's the Shogun Bible in the same way that Henry was the Witcher Bible.
Exactly.
I really liked, is it Anna Sawa? She was in the Monarch series, and I found her quite irritating. That was the thing in the Monarch series. I really enjoyed it, but the kind of 3 younger characters, I wanted to punch their lights out a lot of the time.
Was that the character?
It was the character, because I really love her in Shogun in the little bit that I've seen. You haven't watched any of it yet. You're saving it for yourself. What I will say is, we will. What I will say is, there is a demonstration of Japanese brutality in the very first episode, in how they deal with one of the prisoners, that actually gave me nightmares. And it's been a long time since the show has done that.
Wow.
Yeah, I after that scene, and you know exactly what it is. After that scene, I was like, yeah, because they cut away from a lot of it, but there is a snippet of a shot that I'm like, that was enough. That was enough to give me nightmares. Thank you.
They needed to do.
That's all they needed to do.
But there's also a scene earlier in the I think it could have been the first or second episode. It could have been the first episode, actually. It was before that moment, where you see that they show the class.
Yes.
The different classes in Japan, of the samurai class and the peasant class. And there was a moment that
somebody speaks out of turn.
A peasant tries to do something, and a samurai steps in, and it's, so you see it straight away punctuates the scene.
It's so quick.
And it's like, and then you see the look on Blackthorn's face when he realizes, oh balls, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
You know, and I have to really work and I have to be silver tongued to get myself out of this.
Yeah.
As best I can. But yeah, no, it shows the brutality of Japanese culture at the time, but it also shows the brutality of Japanese culture throughout history, because that just didn't stop.
Oh,
that continued.
Yes, I know. And having visited a lot of historical sites in Japan, while they do their best to look at particularly more recent events and be like, we must ensure that this never happens again, i.e. Hiroshima, Okinawa. When you go to their various castles that have been the funniest is like, you'll go to a castle in Osaka or Hiroshima and they'll talk about how like this is, the fourth or fifth iteration of this castle because it was burnt down by these other invaders in this century, and this century. But yeah, there is a legacy of violence there when it comes to the shogunate and the royal families in Japan. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the rest of that series because the little taster that we've had, the couple of episodes, 2 or 3 episodes that we've had, I'm like, and I also feel like it's one of those shows that you can't half-ass it. You can't double screen it. You have to sit down.
That's why
it's a full hour, like here's every episode.
It's an investment. Stuff that good, I just knew. Like, stuff that good is such an investment. Do you want to do it properly? You can't be running 2 of those shows at the same time.
No.
So I'm saving that one. Yeah.
Get Slow Horses as well.
Right. That's Apple TV, isn't it? I love that Ben Stiller is liking tweets on the internet going, where the fuck is Severus?
Season 2 they've only told us 2025 and I'm like, but when in 2025?
He's around liking all the tweets going, where the fuck is well, that was COVID.
That was COVID, yeah.
Slow Horses is one of those shows that apparently Gary Oldman had said he would be happy to play Jackson Lamb for the rest of his career.
Holy shit.
That is a serious endorsement from
him.
Gary fucking Oldman.
Yeah.
Jackson Lamb is a bollocks. But it's so well done. There are only 6 episodes per season. It took us a long time to get on that train and we have toured through seasons 1 to 3. So we're about to so season 4 only dropped recently. It's based on a set of books, which I feel like there must be a dozen in that series now at this stage.
It's written by Phil from The Thick of It.
Yeah.
Who makes constant Queen references and Thatcher references. I love him so
much. Like every character in the show there's something about them that you're like, I kind of love them. I kind of fucking hate them as well.
Yeah, I miss I miss success.
It's really, really well done. And I suppose if you like your spy dramas, you're in. If that's not necessarily your thing, the banter between the characters is done so well. And like Harry Oldman and Christian Scott Thomas, like, can't really go wrong. That woman is aging beautifully as well.
Yes.
She looks amazing and she is commanding as second desk.
You're you're cheating with that bone structure.
I've loved her since The English Patient.
And there's not much to know about that movie.
No.
Well, there you go. Yes. All right, folks. This has been Pubcast.
Are we done?
We're done. We're done. Well, I mean,
for now.
The recording is done. We can have another point,
Okay.
Because I mean, but we will be back soon.
Okay.
We'll be back soon. We're gonna do this more often.
Yeah.
At least once a month we're gonna have an episode. Maybe we're gonna try. And Thomas House are very, very gratefully to them. Very grateful to them for letting us use their beautiful establishment.
Mad sound, buddy, folks in the TH.
So yeah, they have, as I said, they have gaming nights here every Tuesday, and then they have the mad bastard child that is Pazuzu. When is Pazuzu?
The last Saturday of every month. Sorry, it is the last Saturday of every month in the Thomas House. The lads have been doing a mid-month show at Fibbers as well the last couple of months. I'm not sure how long that's going to keep up for. But there are gigs aplenty in this venue that happens.
This is from Reddit on Patrick's Day.
It is, yeah. Gar does an AMA every Paddy's Day. And if a dive bar isn't your thing, check out the Saint in Inchicore. It is a sports bar run by one of the patrons of this pub.
There you go.
Ooh.
All right, folks. Until next time, look after yourselves. We've been Pubcast. Take it handy.